You are what I'm looking for. I know what I'm looking for.
Today I'm going to be creating some cards using the Simon Says Stamp Fresh Air Flowers stamp set. I saw this in a video that Laura Basson had done and I really loved the results. So I picked up the stamp and I wanted to make some cards with it. So I'm starting with a piece of cardstock that measures 3 3/4 by 5, and I have a mini Misti and a sticky mat inside of my Misti to hold my cardstock in place. So I'm going to start with the largest image for the Fresh Air Flowers stamp, and I'm using Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Saturated Inks for this, and I'm going to position my first stamp and pick it up with the door of my Misti and stamp with the Seafoam ink. I've been using these ink pads more and more, and I find I'm loving the colors, the way they stamp, and just all around I'm loving the Simon Says Stamp Pawsitively Saturated inks. When they stamp, sometimes they might look a little blotchy, but give them time and they'll dry back to a nice, smooth, beautiful finish. I end up double stamping all of the stamps that I'm putting down today. I just like the nice solid color. So moving along to the second image in this set, I'm not sure if I mentioned that this is a layering set. I think that would be quite important. But this layering set is super easy to line up. It is not complicated in any way because there's no real orientation. You just stamp them on top of each other. There's no right or wrong way, and they look gorgeous any way you place them. So I stamped the second color with Surf ink, and now I'm going to move into the final layer for this flower using Ocean. And I double stamped this as well, and love the results so far. I'm really excited about where this card is going. So once I get the image stamped, I'm going to clean up the door of my Misti and move along to the next image. And I'm going to stamp the leaves with Simon Says Stamp Limalicious ink. And I'll get that stamped, making sure that the stem is touching the flower. And then I'll move into the second layer of this stem, and that's going to be with Perfection ink. And again, the layering part here doesn't matter because they're very loose and whimsical and watercolory, that they don't really line up in any specific point. So you just pop it on top, stamp it, and you're good to go. So love the way that looks. I had forgot that I stamped the center stamen of that flower, so there was one more little part, and I stamped that with jennycarddesigns slate ink. I'm just going to move along and stamp a bunch of different images and kind of cascading my florals diagonally across this card. So I used Heather, Lilac, and Iris for the little flowers in the bottom left, and then I used Carnation, Peony, and Rose for the little flowers in the top right. And then for the greens, I used Limalicious, Perfection, and Celery. And then lastly, I'm going to stamp a greeting. There's a beautiful greeting in this set that says, "There are not enough words to express how grateful I am for you." So I stamped that with the jennycarddesigns slate ink, and I stamped it a couple of times. And I didn't want to press too hard because the words are very delicate. So I just wanted to make sure that I got all of those words with a nice dark impression and that they were legible as well. And I layered this up on a piece of Rainbow Splash cardstock. This is the purple cardstock from the Rainbow Slash line. It's a new line from Simon Says Stamp, and I just created a little matte layer, and then I added some beautiful flat sequins, and then that's it. This card is complete. I love the way this turned out and the beautiful vibrant colors and that little bit of sequin to give it a bit of shine. All right, let's move along to card project number 2. So for this one, I'm going to stamp with some acrylic blocks, and I really liked the little tiny dainty florals that I stamped in the other card. So I thought I would create a little focal image on the center of this card. So I'm using Cheeky, Blush, and Pucker. And then I'm using Peony, Carnation, and Rose. And I'm just stamping the 3 layers of those flowers. And then I'm also going to stamp the leaves as well. And I'm going to use Perfection ink for that. And this is just a really fun and loose little floral image. And like I said earlier, the layering does not matter. It doesn't matter how they line up. It just looks so cute and delicate. And so there we go. This is all done. Now I pulled in some of that rainbow splash cardstock, and I was trying to find a piece that I thought would match nicely. When I picked up my rainbow splash cardstock, I cut it all down into some card bases and some card panels. I thought it would be more useful for me this way. So I'm going to trim out a panel. I have a piece of that sort of dusty rose looking cardstock. I'm not sure the names of these colors yet because they're so new to me. So I layered a little border around my stamped panel. And then I have this Birthday Wishes die set from Simon Says Stamp, and there's a shadow layer as well as the words. And I had a little cutting party and cut out those Birthday Wishes words a whole bunch of times, figuring that I would use that a lot. So I decided to cut out the shadow layer from the matte layer of my panel here out of that pink cardstock. And then I'll adhere everything together, and no one will ever know that I took the center out of this piece of cardstock. So I'll just use some dot liner and attach my stamped panel to my layering panel. And then I'm going to grab a piece of craft foam. I love to use craft foam for dimension on my cards. I have a drawer full of little cut up pieces, and I just keep it really close by so that I can pull it out quickly, and I just cut a little piece that will fit behind this panel perfectly. It doesn't have to be perfect, just enough to pop it up. I'll get that all adhered down to my card. So I went ahead and stacked the birthday wishes 3 times out of white cardstock, and then glued those down to that back layer. And then popped this up on some foam squares and put that right in the center of my card. And I love the way this looks. One of my little tittles to my eyes fell off, so I just had to re-glue that down. The next thing I'm going to do is grab some of the Rainbow Splash gems. This is also new from Simon Says Stamp, and these are cute little sparkly gems that are adhesive backed. So I'm just able to grab them with my jewel picker, pick them up, and pop them onto my card. So I used some pink ones and some orange ones. I put a couple of little pink ones on top of the tittles for my eyes, just for a little extra something something. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do to this card. Super pretty and simple and just beautiful. I love the way this turned out. Here's a close-up look at that finished card project. And that's going to be it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed these fun and colorful, beautiful cards using this Simon Says Stamp Fresh Air Flowers. I really love this set, and I love the Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated Inks. They're just beautiful, and they're almost perfect when they stamp. Love, love, love. Alright, thanks so much for joining me today. Coming up on screen are some videos I think you may enjoy. Have yourself a lovely day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!